Someone investing $100 a month, starting at 25, will retire wealthier than someone investing $500 a month, starting at 35. Not roughly equal, wealthier. That one fact changes everything about how money actually grows, because the real advantage was never the dollar amount, and most people do not figure that out until it has already cost them a fortune. Picture two people with the same goal, a comfortable retirement. One starts investing $100 every month at age 25. The other waits until 35, then tries to catch up by putting in $500 a month, which is 5 times as much. Both invest steadily until age 65, both use the same broad market index fund, and both leave their money untouched. The final numbers tell a story that upends common sense. At a 6% annual return, the early starters' 40 years of $100 contributions grow to about $188,400. The total amount put in? Just $48,000. Meanwhile, the late starter pours in $500 every month for 30 years, a whopping $180,000 in principal. By retirement, their account reaches $482,800. That's a bigger number, but it required nearly 4 times as much out-of-pocket cash. But the real shock comes at the break-even point. For more than a decade, the early starter's portfolio stays ahead, even though the late starter is contributing 5 times as much each month. Only after about 12 years do the balances finally cross. In lower return scenarios, say 4% annual growth, the early starter's head start is even harder to overcome. At that rate, the late starter's $500 plan ends with $339,850, but the early starter's $100 habit still grows to $114,560, despite contributing less than a third as much in total. The table is simple, but the gap is enormous. Time, not just money, is the force that makes the difference. The numbers lay out the stakes. Waiting even a few years to begin costs far more than most people ever realize. The question is no longer how much you can save, but how soon you're willing to start. Compounding works in a way that feels almost unfair. At first it seems slow, but over time the results become dramatic. Every month, that $100 does not just earn a return on itself, it also lets last month's returns start earning too. This is interest on interest, and it is the reason the growth curve bends upward so sharply in the later years. The early dollars you invest become the foundation for decades of growth. Each new contribution joins the pile. But the real magic is what happens after years of letting the process run. Imagine a stack of blocks. The bottom layer is your principal, every $100 you put in, month after month. Over the years, a second layer starts to build, made entirely of earnings. At first, that earnings layer is thin, barely noticeable, but after 20 or 30 years, it towers above the original contributions. By retirement, the total growth often dwarfs the money you put in. In the early starter's case, $48,000 in contributions grew to almost $190,000 at a 6% return. That means more than $140,000 came from compounding, not from working harder or saving more, but from the quiet force of time multiplying returns. On a regular chart, the growth looks slow and steady, but if you plot the same numbers on a logarithmic scale, the straight line reveals something deeper. Compounding does not just add, it multiplies. The later years are where the snowball effect truly shows its power. The lesson is simple. Every year you wait, you're not just missing a single year's growth. You're missing the decades of growth that each early dollar could have generated. That is why the cadence matters more than the amount. It is not about catching up later. It is about letting time do the heavy lifting. On her 25th birthday, Maria opened a Roth IRA and set up a recurring $100 transfer to her account. The process took less than 10 minutes. She logged in, linked her checking account, and scheduled the deposit to land on the first of every month. That was 1998. She never changed the amount, never skipped a month, and never tried to guess the market. The money just moved, quietly, in the background. By 2022, her portfolio balance crossed $135,000. Maria's total out-of-pocket contributions added up to $29,000. The rest, more than $100,000, came from steady growth and the quiet force of compounding. She never felt the urge to pause or tweak her plan. With each year, the habit became invisible, just another part of her financial routine. Looking back, Maria describes her account as a time capsule, built one small automatic deposit at a time. At age 35, Daniel realized he'd put off investing for a full decade. The urgency hit hard. Retirement was not far off, and the math was unforgiving. Determined to catch up, he set his account to pull $500 every month, 5 times what his friend Maria had started with at 25. Each deposit felt like a small sacrifice, a reminder of lost time. Over the years, Daniel watched his balance climb. But even as the numbers grew, a quiet anxiety lingered. He knew he'd end up putting in nearly 4 times as much principal as someone who started earlier, and still, the gap would not fully close. The pressure to never miss a month weighed on him. Even with steady contributions, the sense of chasing lost ground never quite faded. For Daniel, the cost of waiting was measured not just in dollars, but in the constant worry of running out of time. 3 lines trace across the screen, each one a different approach to investing. The first line, steady and unwavering, represents dollar cost averaging, a fixed $100 invested every single month, rain or shine. The second line lurches and hesitates, trying to time the market with larger, less frequent deposits. The third line shows a lump sum, dropped in all at once, then left untouched. As months turn to years, the steady line pulls ahead. Even during market dips, the disciplined monthly plan stays on course, smoothing out the bumps. By the end of the simulation, the consistent investor's balance sits comfortably above the others. That is the quiet power of never skipping a month, letting the plan run no matter what the market is doing. Missing even a single year of contributions leaves a scar on future wealth that cannot be patched over later. The numbers are blunt. Skipping just 1 year at age 30, 12 months of $100 payments, means arriving at retirement with $1,700 less at a 6% return. A 5-year gap at the same age, that is $9,200 gone, the price of a used car or a year of college tuition. Let the pause stretch to 10 years, and the loss climbs to $20,200. Each year missed isn't just $100 times 12, it's decades of lost compounding, growth that never gets a chance to start. The table lays it out. Every gap, no matter how small, carves away a chunk of the future that can never be replaced. This isn't just theory. Surveys after the 2008 financial crisis found that 68% of investors who hit pause on their monthly contributions later wished they hadn't. Most underestimated how much those skipped deposits would cost. The regret isn't just about the dollars left on the table, it's about realizing too late that time, once lost, cannot be recovered. The message is clear. The real danger isn't market swings or bad timing, but letting interruptions quietly chip away at what could have been. Setting up an automatic transfer turns intention into action. People who automate their investments contribute 2.3 times more over 5 years than those who deposit manually. The difference is not willpower, it is that automation removes the need to decide every month. 3 simple workflows cover nearly every situation. For a Roth IRA or brokerage account, log into your bank and schedule a recurring ACH transfer of $100 to your investment account, set to run on payday or the first of each month. For workplace plans, use your HR portal to set a fixed 401k deferral. Many employers already default to 3% of salary, which often lands right around the $100 mark. Robo-advisors like Betterment or Wealthfront let you link your checking account and schedule automatic deposits, then handle the investing and rebalancing for you. Choosing the right fund matters just as much as consistency. Focus on broad market index funds with expense ratios at or below 0.05%. 3 tickers lead the pack: VTI from Vanguard, SCHB from Schwab, and FZROX from Fidelity. Each offers total US market exposure, no minimums, and fees so low they barely register, leaving more of your returns untouched. Before automating, check that you have a basic emergency buffer, enough to cover a few months of expenses, so you are not forced to interrupt your plan during a cash crunch. Once the transfer is set, the process runs quietly in the background. The less you tinker, the more you gain. Right now, over half of Americans have less than $1,000 saved for emergencies. As compounding quietly rewards patience, the real risk is waiting to start. In a world obsessed with shortcuts, discipline remains the only proven advantage. The simplest habit still builds the future, 1 month at a time.